I wanted to record a video introduction to the Parsha class to give folks a better idea of what we do. The class is dedicated to a close reading of the text in service to earth-based spiritual development. Sounds great. Now, what does that mean? We begin with a different kind of close reading of the text. Standard Jewish reading of any text in the Hebrew Bible incorporates the literally centuries of commentary about the text and the stories that have grown up around it. Abraham smashing the idols isn't actually part of the text we read, but it is part of the Jewish genius to present this kind of commentary or story as part of the unfolding of the divine message. I read the text differently because of my commitment to uncovering and reclaiming an earth-based indigenous perspective. The text as we have it is a polemic against native God-worshipping, goddess-worshipping, earth-based spirituality. The vast majority of the commentary and stories exacerbate the process of obscuring the indigenous and mythic origins of the text. So I read the text stripping out all of the rabbinic commentary in order to get closer to the earth-based spiritual practice that is the substrate of the text. I absolutely don't believe that how I read the text is the only way to read it. There are Jewish feminist and earth-based ways of reading these texts that incorporate the inheritance of rabbinic Judaism. Rabbis Jill Hammer and Rabbi David Seidenberg's works are exemplary in this regard. They fall, at least to my mind, within the paradigm of rabbinic Judaism. My reading doesn't. I present the text with usually 4 themes per parsha and 3 or 4 questions per theme. There's no magic here about the number 3 or 4. It's more that I think there is a richness in each parsha, and I want to give people different paths to explore. Not all of them are going to grab you equally, of course, but I desperately want the folks participating to find within the text the possibility of earth-based spiritual development. So here's what I mean by earth-based spiritual development. I want this text to help facilitate reflection and personal development. Each week, I personally answer all the questions I ask before I teach the parsha. If you don't learn something about yourself or have some kind of hint of how to look at your life differently, you've spent a pleasant hour. We're a nice group of folks who like each other. But you'll walk away from the class the same as you were before you came to it. My purpose isn't some kind of instant transformation, but to help nudge you deeper into yourself. This nudging you deeper into yourself is a common goal of spiritual practice. The class is a subset of spiritual development because I work diligently to ground the questions and development in the, quote, more than human world. More than human world is a felicitous phrase coined by David Abram in his wonderful book, The Spell of the Sensuous, that refers to the world around us that is greater than us and within which we need to find our place. Too often we think humans are over, against, above the more than human world, but Abram's phrase is meant to establish the right relationship with the rest of the beings in the world. In Buber's language, I'm interested in facilitating the possibility of I-thou relationships with rocks, trees, deer, green bean plants, and all of creation. I believe that I-thou relationships with other humans that are grounded in the more than human world is a possible antidote to the alienation our culture fosters from the rest of creation and thereby from ourselves. So that's what I mean by a class dedicated to a close reading of the text in service to earth-based spiritual development.